Test. Yep, we're good. And
yep,
we are. We are already on. We're good.
We're good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of State League and the 5th game of our 6-game broadcast.
Let me just get a
Yep, you're right, JB. I'll keep on talking. It's Penguin taking on Glenorchy. This should be a ripper of a game. And here we go. So Barker and White in the tip, but Glenorchy controlled to the left as Stanwicks gets this one underway. JB should be, as Phoenix Roby goes for a 3. White with the rebound. JB, it should be a good game, this one.
It should be a very good contest. These boys sore and sorry for their efforts yesterday and last night. So both battle weary, but both had pretty good campaigns yesterday. The Spartans coming away with some convincing wins. Meanwhile, Penguin managing 2 wins of their own in a big OT finish against Hobart as well to note. And
Stanley rejected by White. The 2 Chargers teammates come together on that one. Now Beveridge to Bragg. Bragg, the former NBL, former Wildcats player.
Even managed to gig in the blitz as well when it was here last year.
It certainly was. And foul on the play here. And once again, we've
got team 5-3. Whoosh, blue.
And once again, we have referee Andrew Johnson mic'd up. And again, we appreciate and thank him for allowing us to do that again, JB. We tried this yesterday and it went very well.
Yes, we had a good dynamic even after, I believe one of the McGaffin boys thought the microphone was actually there on his hip. Tried to speak into it. I don't know how that would have looked on camera, but no, it was very good. It was good to hear the banter and the communication and just another great insight into the way we were able to cover this great game running.
Absolutely. So ball got deflected by White and Beveridge has to jump over the Glenorchy bench and nearly going to Kingston head coach Alex Cato.
I tell you what, though, I absolutely love the hand pass there to Nick Draper. He's an all-round athlete there, Bev. And
yes, he is.
He drilled the hand pass nicely to Nick Draper.
Absolutely. Stanwicks one-on-one with Bragg. That should be a good matchup.
I think Collingwood could have used Mr. Beveridge last night.
Roby in term. Stanwicks shot clock at 6 as Stanwicks gets the 2 to go and opens Glenorchy scoring account.
This could be an absolute shootout, Ronnie. The Beveridge brothers not afraid to put up a shot. You've got Jacob Richards who can put up a shot, and we all know, particularly from the south standard point.
And Joel Beveridge with the lucky drop. And, of course, Beveridge can get on a hot streak as well, too. A streaky shooter. Meanwhile, Nick Barker down low over Richards. Can't get that to go. Jalen Beveridge with the rebound. And now Mason Bragg coming down the floor here for the Penguin Blues.
Yes, Mason looking more and more like his father in his prime as the days go on. It's great to see the resemblance.
So Bragg at the corner. Just can't get that to go. Now Barker with the rebound. So Cal Barker also playing. So a good talent of players playing this afternoon.
It's the marquee matchup of the Sunday, and arguably outside of the Hobart Glenorchy game yesterday, the Hobart Penguin game yesterday, this is arguably the matchup of the weekend, and we're looking at 2 teams that should be featuring in finals come the Launceston route of the tournament.
Yes, Gala weekend at the end of November, the last weekend of November, and it's over a 2-day period. As Beveridge pulls up from the free throw, can't get it to go, and now Roby picks up the scraps. He's got Barker and Smith in support. Smith thought about it, turns it down, goes back to Roby. Smith once again with his options.
Roby having just come off as he goes baseline there.
Nice movement, and then the foul will be called on Richards as Barker went up for the shot. And just, you were saying there, JB?
Yeah, young Phoenix Roby actually coming off a state game on the previous court there. You'll see some of the other boys there. You've even got Haywood on the bench there for Penguin. He himself has also come off a state game just on the previous floor. So trying to back up. And again, we noticed that with the effect of the BTAS high-performance teams yesterday, that a lot of these athletes are doubling up, some playing up to 5 or 6 games yesterday.
So Richards able to pull that one in, and now Beveridge coming up the floor. He got Bragg on the other side. He'll go to now. And now White open for 3. He knows these rims quite well, Zach White, having played at this venue last year in NBL 1. As Stanwicks, he'll be familiar with him too, and can't get that to go. Barker with the rebound and the putback.
There's a lot of big bodies under that rim this afternoon. The Barker boys, the biggest of them all. Good luck trying to box them out.
So Beveridge now exploring, goes for the drive, and it was a good option as Joel Beveridge gets the 2.
Yes, deceptively quick there. Young Connor Smith has taken leaps and bounds in his game the last 2 years, but Beveridge, the veteran, just getting the better of him.
So Barker here at the elbow. Looking for the back door off a Callum Barker screen, but Barker's still got the ball.
Good defence. He doesn't mind that shot.
Smith from the corner. That's short. Bragg with the rebound. Penguin off and running. Too many Glenorchy jerseys, but Bragg is equal to the challenge. Can't get the layup to go. And Smith coming down the other end of the floor here now. So Smith, in terms Stanwicks, goes for the three. Yes.
Big shot there, Jack Stanwicks. He was on fire yesterday, and he's one of the perennial best shooters in the entire state, so look for him to have a big game.
So 9-5 is our score line. Glenorchy out to a 4-point lead. So Richards puts it to the floor. Goes interesting way to do it. Zach White missed the tip.
Zach White landed and then put the shot up there, a little uncoordinated.
Yes, it looked like they were, a little bit lost in what they wanted to do there, according to Mines.
Absolutely. Zach White now a veteran of the Tassie basketball scene now. Been here almost a decade, Ronnie, and as far as a community standpoint, one of the best imports the state's ever had.
Yes, he's right up there in that conversation. Stanwicks for three. He's, missed everything, but Barker, Barker lost where he was in the air and then came back down with the ball.
Bit of Sunday-itis, Ronnie. A bit of R&R needed by some of these boys, but
I think so.
We're almost halfway through this quarter, ticking over nicely.
Yes. Quick game's a good game as Richards for three. Can't get that to go.
Backwards and forwards here on the rebound.
Yes, it's up and down a little bit here at the moment, JB. No one's settling yet on a bit of an offense as Stanwicks drives, pulls up, and makes the two.
Yeah, that's dangerous there. His ability to stop on a dime has improved again in the last 12 months. As we mentioned yesterday, Michelle Chopping do a lot of work with these Chargers athletes, and you'll see no better results than you will with Jack Stanwicks.
Beveridge puts it to the floor, kicks it out, but Stanwicks able to read that one from Bragg, and then Stanwicks, and he coughs up his own pass there, but Smith was able to recover. So Barker with it now, back to Stanwicks, and a quick transition in and out there for the three on Stanwicks. So Bragg coming down the floor here. As we just nearly ticked on 5.5 minutes here as Bragg puts it up, and
offensive foul
on the
fend
called.
Mal Beveridge is not having any idea what's going on here at the moment. He's working on the board. They've called a timeout. He certainly wants to settle. Yeah, I was going to say he's drawing something up. That's 11-5. And I was actually going to say, Ronnie, Mal Beveridge was, I believe, voted Coach of the Year last year.
He was.
At State League Awards. So a very seasoned veteran of the Tassie basketball scene of well in excess of 35 years as a player and a coach. Most of that on the northwest coast, particularly with Penguins. So I've got no doubt that his boys are just going to want to try and counteract a little bit. He's going to want to work on the that flowing offense that that Glenorchy are running at the moment. They're, utilising the fact that Stanwicks is playing both sides of the floor, and they've got big bodies on the glass, so he's going to have to try and work around that. Meanwhile, I think Brendan Stanwicks would be pretty happy at sort of feeling the Penguin group out at the moment. He knows how deadly they can be as shooters, but he also understands the athleticism they bring with a Bragg, a Richards, and a Zach White. So a lot of dynamics at play here, and I think it's going to be a real coach's game.
Absolutely. Both these teams, of course, made the gala weekend last season. Of course, Penguin advanced to the grand final, going down to Launceston, who we're covering next, JB, in a double header.
And that was a semi-final. They beat Hobart in, Ronnie. I remember covering that. And Rain Smith went absolutely ballistic from outside. Penguin were hitting everything. And again, as we mentioned, that Penguin side, other than Rain Smith, somewhat intact. They've Mason Bragg playing for them and not Bernie in the men's. So that'll be another dynamic. They don't have a shooting point guard, but they have a point guard that can really push the pace. So the more things change, the more they stay the same.
We'll see. We'll pick up the audio. So AJ there, he's grinning away, AJ. Look at him. Good to see.
Couldn't really get the back end of that conversation.
No, we couldn't either. But anyway, we'll move right along here. Smith with the ball carrying duties. And good defensive pressure by Bragg and gets the handle. Now Barker inside to Roby, but last touch by Roby. So good defensive work there by Riley Haywood, who's into the game for the first time today.
He was an impact player yesterday, Ronnie, in the state game. He really sparked the team. I believe it was in the second quarter. Got that BTAS team right up in the contest. He's going to look to do the same here for Penguin.
So Richards down low against Barker. Now Bragg, in term Haywood. Now they're going to kick the ball back round. And so Richards has got it. Down low into White. White turnaround J-Use. Not good. And then rebound by Barker. Smith up the floor here for the Spartans as we've ticked on to over 6 minutes here in this first quarter from the Kingborough Sports Centre. Stanwicks puts it to the floor. Looking at his options. Goes up. Good defensive pressure by Beveridge. This should be last touch by Penguin. So Glenorchy to get it back with 11 on the shot clock.
See where we can just...
Thanks, mate. We go.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds of the game right there.
If that's loud for you, it's definitely loud for us. That's
and offensive foul's been called. See who this is on.
Black team 3-3. Block.
So
Offense.
that's on Callum Barker there for the block.
Yeah, trying to foot through the.
Merry Christmas.
Well, Christmas is about 11 weeks away, JB, so I wonder if AJ's wanting to get us a present.
Well, that would be nice. If you could give us a bit more commentary, that would be a good enough gift. But
Haywood from downtown is short.
I don't know how long AJ slept for last night, but it is not December. If he starts singing a Christmas carol, we'll just unmic him immediately.
Beveridge from downtown is long. So Barker with the rebound as we come up the floor here. Barker with the ball carrying duties, that's a rarity. And then coughed it up. Richards to Bragg, and then now was he in the circle? Offensive foul's been called, and that's Bragg's second, and that will concern Coach Mount Beveridge.
Well, I think the concern there that Penguin are asking was that did Mason have enough time himself to land?
Well, he does. You're very true, but we're about 20 metres away from what happened. So, and he's about 2 metres away, so I'm going to trust his judgment.
Yeah, Mason Bragg trying to work out if AJ's mic'd up. He is. Yep, so Mason needs to learn that we're live.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair explanation there from Andrew Johnson. You know, you've got to have the trust and judgment in your senior refs. Connor and Nick, other senior refs along with him there.
As Phoenix Roby gets the 2.
But I think the question that was being asked there mainly, Ronnie, sorry to harp on the point, but the question I think from Mason was, did he have enough time to land there? He was just hit on the lane, but I think he wanted to know, did he have enough time in the lane, enough time to land as that foul there on Phoenix Roby? That'll send Zach White to the line. And I think that's probably a fair question if Mason wants to ask that. Because it was a split-second moment. But at the same time, good call by Andrew Johnson to show the trust in the refs.
Yep, no, absolutely. And as we talked about yesterday, you've got to all work together as a team. Players have to work as a team. Same with our officials. Our official has to work as a team. So there's got to be that trust and confidence in between all three, and which they are. So it's good.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned, Connor, one of our more senior referees.
Time out here, JB.
Yes, quick time out here. That'll go to the Spartans. And scoreboard has not moved a bit. We've had 2 points in that entire time, 13-6 our scoreline. But, yeah, it's good to see the refs really working, communicating there. Just make sure we're right down. We are there. Yep. But, yeah, I mean, if that's the question they want to ask, then that's fair. But as you said, there needs to be that confidence and that understanding with all of that. And they clearly have that as well. They're 3 of our more senior referees in the state are on the floor at the moment. You'd argue the only really our other 2 more senior referees are David Farmers and probably Ruben Woolcock at the moment, who's in the state. But, I mean, we've got 3 of the best in the state on the game. So, bit of a stretch to try and... There's music pumping out of the thing.
We should be fine.
We should be fine. We're over-talking. It's not a promotional thing. So. No. But, yeah, a strange game, Ronnie. I mean, if you're 13-7, they have adjusted that free throw's gone on there for Penguin. What would you be talking about here if you're either coach? I mean, it's a lot of backwards and forwards. They're not getting any sound half-court structure here. There's a concern with some players and their fouls. I mean, how are you trying to coach through this particular period of the game?
Well, right now, we probably want to be looking at, running. Let's run some structure. All of a sudden, we've just been back, forth. And really, right now, that timeout should be right. Let's get some things set, and let's try and see if we can run and finish this first quarter off with some momentum. So both teams should be looking to focus on that. As Smith with the ball, now to Roby. Boyd Heber out on the floor for the first time today. And Stanwick's got pressured by Bragg and Beveridge. Bragg has Beveridge in support. Now Beveridge puts it to the floor. Now Haywood for 3. Just short.
Notice he really cocks his elbow out the jumper there, Haywood.
He does. He has been working on his game quite a bit. Alley-oop play. Stanwick's to Barker, but then that missed everything, and then Stanwick's with the scraps and gets the 2.
I was a bit worried for the health and concern of those under Cal Barker rising up for that. That could have been nasty. Well defended in the end, and we're slowly trying to tick the scoreboard along.
So ball getting moved around here. It's Haywood. Now Beveridge to his cousin in Joel. So ball, shot clock at 6. So Penguin need to get busy here with Haywood. Puts on a move, spins around Stanwicks, can't get it to go. And then Stanwicks gets the ball and comes up the floor here for Glenorchy. 90 seconds left in this first quarter. There's Roby. Now Stanwicks for 3. He's short, and then good rebound by Callum Barker, and gets that 2.
It's very rare you'll see Zach White beat on the glass, but if there's anyone that's going to do it, it's the 6'9" former Bradley U alumnus.
And foul on Connor Smith.
5, block, blue.
Easy call to make there.
So, and looks like Ruben Carlson coming into the game. Now, Ruben Carlson doesn't play in the senior league down here on Wednesday nights, but he has featured in state league for the last few years.
Well, he's played a couple of senior games actually, Ronnie. He's played.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, he has.
I've been away.
You've been away and reffing, so I mean that's excusable. But no, he has played a couple of games. He's played sparing minutes, and he's played in a similar situation like this, where closing moments of a game, just try and change the lineup, and had some big shots the other week against the Kings to get the Spartans over the line as well.
Oh, there you go. Heard here first as Bragg puts up the 3, can't get it to go. Now Stanwicks up the floor. Here's Roby, puts it to the floor. Over Beveridge, goes to reverse, and good work by Haywood, who got a piece of it.
He got further in than he expected, I believe.
And then Bragg back to Haywood, puts up, rejected by Roby. Get that out of here, and Penguin get the ball back.
So now Beveridge not happy there. I believe he wanted a call, thought there was some contact on the drive. Nonetheless, play through it, Penguin have the ball.
So White to inbound here. Now Beveridge. Looking down low, that matchup between Barker should be good. It might be something we see next year in NBL 1 as White puts it up, can't get the roll, hits his own rebound over Barker and draws the foul. We'll go to the line for 1.
That's just dropped. 3, push.
So that's
1.
a nice follow up there from Zach White, and then attacked the rim nicely.
He was straight up, but he moved. It's a body foul.
Yeah, and that correct call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Callum was still moving, so, and HA with the right explanation there.
I was worried there. If that was a younger Zach White, we very much like the poster dunk he threw down a few years ago, Ronnie.
Oh, yes, my word.
I was very worried for the health and safety there of Callum. Good defence by White, though.
Yes, and then Carlson with the 2, and as you say, he'll play some good sparing minutes here. Last play here, term number 1, and Beveridge will slow us down. Game clock is at 8. So Beveridge going to a 1-4 flat. I'm assuming he will. He puts up the 3. Can't get that to go. And Glenorchy will hold a 10-point lead here going into quarter time. So Glenorchy 19, Penguin 9.
We'll come back with the second quarter right after this.
And we're back for the second quarter. Penguin taking on Glenorchy. And Glenorchy with a 10-point lead at the moment, 19-9, JB. And see if Penguin can just take it a little bit to get going here, but hopefully they can get going in the second quarter.
Yes, they are a hot team when they get going, so hopefully we can see a bit of that offense, that potent offense. And again, maybe not yet.
Not yet. But pass right intention. Mount Beveridge just probably a little bit frustrated at the moment, and hopefully he can get his troops organised and get them moving in the second quarter. So Carlson. Now Roby. Here's Heber. Big Boydo goes for 3.
Nearly plugs the jumper, nearly had a jam ball.
It's not the first time he would have had those kind of shots have dropped for him as well too, JB. We've seen quite a few in SPL.
He's an experienced campaigner, and Boydo will tell you himself that with the bung ankle, and he's not as young as he used to be, that jumper is something he relies on. But I tell you what, if I could rely on my jumper like Boydo does this far into his career, I'd be pretty happy.
So foul on the play here. That might be on Carlson, I reckon. It is, yes. So just reaching in on Richards.
Yes, the young man is, as we mentioned, been playing minutes, and I noticed that Jordan Stanwicks is not suiting up tonight, so that will stretch his minutes a little bit.
And Liam Smith still out with injury. So Beveridge, now Bragg, pulls up. Can't get that to go. White with the O board, and then over Barker. Now Beveridge in turn, Richards. So ball getting moved around here a little bit from the Blues as ball goes inside. Now Richards, turnaround J is not good. And Boydo with the rebound. Coming up the floor here. Carlson does well to retrieve that. Now Roby at the corner is open and just short on that one. And then Bragg able to get that. And coming down the floor here now for Penguin. Needs numbers in support as Beveridge in term his cousin Joel for 3. Looks good, is good for Joel Beveridge.
Cannot allow that sort of space on a jumper for anyone with the last name of Beveridge.
Roby
Phoenix
over sack
That's
White.
a big pie that he just tried to take a bite out
My
of.
word.
Eyes too big for his belly, I think there, Ronnie.
So Beveridge putting it to the floor. Now has to kick it out. So White. So Bragg. Looking for Richards down low, I'm assuming. Yep, they go to him now. And can't get it, but foul on the play here. And it's on Phoenix Roby.
Yes, come over the back of him there. That was smart there by Bragg to wait up. Richards knew he'd have the mismatch in the post on Roby, who in his own right is a good defender, but just a little small at the moment. He'll fill out over the next couple of years. Proven defender in local league, particularly with players of Richards' capabilities. But that was a good read by Jacob. Gets inside and gets the reward at the foul line.
Yes, Jacob Richards, of course, has played in NBL 1. Was supposed to play with the Thunder this season before going to college as well too. Substitution being made. Connor Smith to come in.
Yes, Jacob on his way to college. A few players already headed over to college, Ronnie. And,
yes, we've got a few over there at the moment as well too.
All the best to them. Hopefully they're hard at work at their studies and staying COVID safe in the US of A.
Yes. So Barker inside Carlson. Stanwicks from the corner. Missed everything. So Beveridge with the rebound and will come down the floor here. So now Joel Beveridge. Richards. Now Bragg with that on-ball screen. Looking for the open man. He's White. And then
that's a nice
Beveridge
cut.
On the cut. Tough make off glass for Joel Beveridge.
Class player Joel Beveridge has been for a number of years. He has been a staple and a pillar of this Penguin senior side for quite some time.
So Carlson down low. Now Smith. Stanwicks might have been need to be a bit more patient because Barker was ready for an on-ball screen. Now Stanwicks goes for 3. He's short on that. Richards tap pass to Bragg.
Penguin with a chance to tie this one up here.
So Bragg now Beveridge, and then bodies fly go down, and that will be on Jalen Beveridge.
Blue team 10, Bush offense. He's there before he takes off in the air.
So
explanation there
from AJ.
And that's the second charge. Connor Smith's a little more ginger after that one than he was when the first one. That one landed a little hard on him, and he's going to have some pressure now from Mason.
Oh, he certainly will. Certainly will. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup. Boydo into Barker, and Barker gets it to go. He drew the foul on Zach White.
Who smiles.
And Callum Barker will go to the line for 1. Substitution.
Is Nick Barker for Boydo.
Nick Barker, yep, coming in. So Callum Barker, of course, signed with Frankston in the off-season and was supposed to play there for NBL 1, but of course, cancellation this year due to COVID.
Yes, having spoken to a number of players who were due to play in the NBL 1 that have played in Hobart previously and were looking at other franchises. I even know some of the imports, particularly from the United States, landed and within 48 hours were back on a plane. So no jet lag, obviously, but sort of a sad state of affairs, unfortunately.
So White for 3, just flat on that one. Carlson with the rebound. He took Connor Smith out on that. And Stanwicks comes up the floor, back to Carlson, and then goes up himself. Good defensive play by Beveridge. Now Bragg off and running as Richards and Beveridge in support. Beveridge for that trademark 3. He's so used to, we so know him for. He missed that one. Then Bragg able to pick up the scraps off a bobbled catch from Smith. Now Beveridge slows it down here. So
looking to get some more offense.
So down low here, Beveridge working one-on-one with Carlson. Tough body matchup. There's a fair bit of bumping at first.
Black team 21, Bush 2.
And Charlie Beveridge will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, it's been interesting here for Penguin. They've slowly edging forward, and again, just like last night, both sides getting to that 5-6 point range and can't progress the deficit anymore. It just can't hit that extra shot. It's sort of a mental game to be so close and so anxious. It's a lot easier to play with confidence when you're in the lead.
And Beveridge misses the second. So margin back at 5, 22-17 is our scoreline. About halfway through this second quarter. And Stanwicks puts it to the floor. Now Smith for that long 2. Just short. Beveridge has Bragg up the floor. Goes to him now. Bragg gets the 3. Can't get it to go. Now Barker, here's Carlson as we come up the floor. Again, a little bit of more run and gun style from both teams here in this first half. As Smith gets the on ball. Wanted Barker to roll, but wouldn't. Carlson, now Smith. Here's Barker for that mid-range two, and that the most interesting shot I've seen from Nick Barker in my life. As
Good
Carlson
defence.
knocks that one out, and Penguin to get it back. Timeout called here by Coach Mal Beveridge. His team trails by 5 here, 5:12 remaining.
Yes, he's going to want to just reassess here, and I think he himself understands that there's been a couple of chances here for them to really try and take advantage of this lead, as there's a bird flying up the back of the stadium there.
Yes, not the first time we've had birds come into this stadium, and not the last time either. So, yes, there's a little gap somewhere, I've been told by the Sports Centre staff here, that they somehow get in here and then they can fly around for a few days.
Sneak round, absolutely. But, yeah, Coach Beveridge, he's going to want to just try and generate a bit more consistent half-court offence. I think they've tried to run a couple of post plays. They've got some minimal success out of that, but when they're trying to get back to that shot, it just doesn't seem to be working for them. I think he wants to probably get both the Beveridge boys involved in that shooting a bit more. He probably want to get Hayward on for a bit more defence. And I mean, if Mason's out there running and distributing, if they can start getting those shots to floor and spaced out, then that's when Zach White comes into play. That's when Mason gets those easy drives. So I think he's going to look to do that. Meanwhile, Brennan Stanwyck, so they're sort of more maintaining a lead rather than growing a lead. And I think that's not necessarily the way he's going to want to play, particularly against this Penguin team, because he knows the run is going to come at some point. And the last thing that he wants his team to be is complacent with their position in the game.
Absolutely. Spot on, JB. So, see how Penguin come out of this set here off the baseline. So, ball is getting moved around here. As Beveridge goes.
Oh,
nice
that's a
spin
nice
move.
drop step too.
Can't get it to go. Stanwyck's up the floor here for the Spartans. Yes, and Smith, well, he missed everything. So, Mason Bragg giving some advice to him. So, just a bit of, well, I don't know how to describe that one, JB. And then drew the foul.
That's a schoolyard kind of play, that one, as Mason Bragg slid out of frame. But Connor Smith really up to the task here on Bragg. He's drawn a couple of fouls. He's taken a couple of charges. He's really setting the tone defensively here for his team. I know young Connor was feeling a little under the weather this morning. I don't know how self-inflicted that was. But I know that he's had a couple of power age and he's really up to the task at the moment. It's been quite an interesting matchup.
Certainly has. White down lows. 8 left on the shot clock.
He likes that short corner, Jay. There it is.
He does. Can't get that to go. Good tap to Stanwyck from Nick Barker. Now Smith, back to Stanwyck, puts it to the floor, try to go through everyone. And then Carlson, try to go to Barker.
Idea was there.
So Bragg, as we come down the floor, kind of retreats back.
Yeah, he's not wanting to penetrate and drive, cause another offensive foul.
And Beveridge puts it to the floor. And again, now is that an offensive foul? It is. And Joel Beveridge just a tad frustrated.
He maintained his dribble very cautiously. That's how I would describe that one.
So we'll just see if we can... Questions being asked and no answers.
No, he's very frustrated there. And I think that sense of frustration is coming out of the lack of production that Penguin's getting as well. You know, calls not going your way. Now, is that no violation on that one?
No, it's got to hit the support system, JB. So
if it actually bounces clean over the backboard and you catch it, that'd be a rebound.
Yep, correct.
Unbelievable. Learn something every day.
That's right. Stanwyck's up the floor to Roby.
And he sees that big piece of apple pie and he's not going to try and take a chunk, is he?
And then try to go pass it through and Zach White. Just, again, the veteran, just knowing that one, where that one was going.
Yeah, there's a reason Zach White has perennially been the best big man defender in Tasmania. Let's put it that way.
Smith for 3 is way short. So Beveridge coming down the floor here.
All the action's left, right, but no centre at the moment.
So Beveridge now Richards.
Good pass. Deserves a bucket.
So Beveridge at the corner. Yes, Charlton Beveridge for the 2.
The ball movement, the execution and the spacing. That is what Penguin have been looking for. It's now a 2-point ball game, but they're really going to want to try and wrestle momentum totally into their control.
22-20, a low-scoring affair here in this game. Roby for the response. Just long. Bark with the board. Then over White gets the roll there.
Again, just too big, 6'9". He's probably the best rounded big man in the state going. There's a reason he was signed to the NBL 1, and again, another product of the US college system.
So Beveridge has got Mason over there. No, goes to White instead, and White hits the floor hard.
I don't think there was anything there. He's just jumping up to catch it. He's landing on a body there. Players weren't in a position to really cause any disruption. That's incidental contact, as they say, Ronnie.
Absolutely. So Smith coming down the floor here. Now Barker. Back to Smith. Turn the row again. Some good ball movement here. They're looking for an inside. Well, they're looking inside. If not, they're wanting to get a shot here. And travel by is being called.
Shuffled his feet, obviously. Mason Bragg was a bit of a sportsman there, so I wonder whether the players didn't see it that way. But Connor Westwood right there on the case, and very hard to dispute someone standing about 3 feet away from you, Ronnie.
Yep, absolutely. Now Bragg attacks.
Get out of here.
Now, is that a goaltender? It is. So I would say that's come up. Well it's on its way down.
Oh, the poor old Zach thought it was offensive interference, but geez, that was a tough call. I mean, it's very deceptive just how high Cal Barker can get when he really puts his mind to it. He's dropped a bit of weight in the last 12 months, and that athletic ability is starting to shine through.
Smith for 3, just long, and Ray with the O-board into Barker for the mini alley-oop. Can't get it to go.
And he's on the deck there, Barker.
And not happy, the big fella. Now Beveridge. So Bragg, and we slow things right down, and then the touch pass in, but a foul will be called on Nick Barker. So the goaltender, I would say it's
only would have been on its way down.
On its way down, and that's what the referee would have seen. But
that was a massive. He got up there. That ball wasn't just floating above the rim. That one was nearly at the line on the square, and he just absolutely went to swat that away. But Penguin here just still trying to get over that hump. They're a 2-point ball game, and as we mentioned, Ronnie, it's that mental game to try and build your confidence to get over it.
Yes, absolutely. I think we saw a good example in the previous game that we weren't filming. From the Kingborough side.
Yes, they got confident, and it was just a matter of seeing the bottom of the net, as the ball did on that one from Stanwicks.
Yes, Jack Stanwicks with 3, and the margin back out to 5 here. 27-22. There's Beveridge. Now Richards fakes, goes to all the way. Nice pass into
Connor Smith.
And then Connor Smith with the rejection. Zach White over Barker, and can't get that to go.
That was a massive block from the young man
there. And Beveridge tried to get that one off Roby. Roby into Barker, and then White able to deflect it.
He was too tentative.
Stanwicks from downtown. That's from Glenorchy in itself. Beveridge, now Richards. Richards is clear and throws it down with a 2-hand jam.
2-hand, wham bam jam. Thank you, ma'am. That's the first of our broadcasts this afternoon, brought to you by Jacob Richards.
So Roby, margin back at 3 here. Less than a minute remaining. Now Smith.
A lot of talk on the floor there.
Yeah, a bit going on. Barker with that. Well, he wanted a foul. Referees didn't see that way. And now a technical foul will be called on Nick Barker. And again, so now
the players are now. We won't turn up on here because they're getting heated.
So I think this was because Penguin are on a fast break.
Right open.
And it was a wide open one. So that that could potentially cost them 2 points. But the severity of what Nick Barker was saying, you had to address it there and then. So that's what referee Andrew Johnson has done. So by the book, he's right.
He's just taking him down there. We won't keep the volume on that. There's no need.
I'll keep explaining. So, by rights, he's right. But
you need to address that on the moment. But Penguin's question is, we're on a break, we're right at the hoop, and you blew the whistle.
The other thing you could throw into the mix here, JB, is you could get the basket, let Penguin get the basket, then you administrate the technical.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a mechanic thing, and, I mean, it's a judgment call, but, I mean, you've also got to be very wary of our audience, not only behind the camera, Ronnie, again, we weren't going to weigh in on that one, but in front of the camera, I mean, only 3 or 4 rows from us, a couple of small kids, so you need to address that quickly, and, I mean, even from a viewer standpoint, you just can't let that stuff slide.
And a foul on the plate. That'll be on Connor Smith as Mason Bragg. His first shot went up and missed, then got his own board and put it up again and drew the foul. So Mason Bragg at the line with 35.2 remaining in the second quarter.
Penguin boys are certainly building some momentum here. They're getting to the line. They're getting fouls. And Mason makes that one there. Again, it's just trying to get over the hump. And I think that technical and that drive there, if they let the drive go, then the technical, and then the confidence amongst the group probably builds to a different kind of level. As Mason knocks down there, tie ball game, but they're going to want to head into the half here with a stop and a bucket, and that'll be just as good as anything.
So, expecting one more play in this quarter at the moment, while Glenorchy are on this one right now. So, Bordeaux through downtown, that line driving three, just long on that one, and hit the back iron. So, this will be the last play of term number 2. We're tied at 27, so see if Penguin can get a small lead here going into the break. So Bragg gets a bit stuck, has to kick it out. Richards pulls up.
He's not afraid to shoot it.
That was short. So we're tied at 27 at half time here. And both teams, Penguin, as you say, JV, Penguin getting a little bit of momentum there towards the end. And Glenorchy just a little bit stuck in the mud.
Yeah, very much stuck in the mud. So as the referees have a bit of a chat there, and I think they're certainly at a crossroads, particularly after that little instance there. They thought they had a foul, wasn't there. The technicals then handed down, and momentum seems to just be sliding in the way of Penguin here. They're getting to the line. They're getting rewarded for their drives. They're starting to knock a few different jump shots. They're playing better defence. They're a lot more alert to the game situation. Meanwhile, for Glenorchy, they're just going to have to steady and let that little moment there go past. That happened in the second half. And again, it's a tie ball game, and as much as as obvious of a statement it is, you now only have to win a half a basketball. The scores are even. You're not chasing your tail, anything like that. Just little execution factors they've got to get. They're playing good defence, and again, as I mentioned, Liam Smith really getting involved there, taking a couple of charges, a couple of big blocks down there. But it's the little execution factors on offense. If you're going to throw a lob pass, make sure your big man's aware of it. If you're going to throw a pass, be direct with it. You can't just giddy it up there and just slowly hand it over in the State League, particularly against a Penguin squad who are well drilled themselves. Their shooting isn't falling as much as they would like, and I think Coach Stanwicks is going to want to get some solid half-court sets going, particularly here in the first opening plays here, because their run and gun shooting just isn't working for them at the moment, Ronnie. If they can get down the floor, get a set, get Stanwicks open, or they can run a set to get Barker in the post, because, I mean, if they can even utilise Barker as a point forward situation out of the post, not necessarily controlling the ball with his handles, but if they can run the game where Zach White is taken out because he has to focus on Cal Barker, that again changes another dynamic. So a few different things they need to work on. I do feel that Penguin's really starting to gel and that things will come for them, but for Glenorchy, they need to really reward their defensive effort here with some solid structure offensively, a couple of good looks, and things will work for them.
Absolutely. It's we should have mentioned too, there's been some good games. We talked about the game before where Kingborough just went on this 5-minute golden patch, JB.
And it ended the game.
Could not miss and blew out Wynyard when it was so close in the first half, and then all of a sudden Kingborough has come out and go bang. Could we see something similar in the second half, or do we?
Both teams have the potential for it. I don't think there's a question about the potential of both teams. I mean, Stanwicks can shoot at a clip. Connor Smith can shoot at a clip. And then on the other side, you've got the Beveridge boys who can shoot at a clip as well. And I mean, they're a pretty evenly matched side when you really put it on the paper. They've got good shooters, they've got quality bigs, they've got quality wings, and their younger players, are playing to an elite state level. So it should be a good matchup. But again, it's going to take a clip like that, Ronnie, to really blow this game out. With momentum building, I would actually say it's probably going to head to Penguin first. But at the same time, if things were just to happen and you weren't quite, it might just spark, and that would be the Glenorchy team. Again, it's that catch and shoot from Stanwicks. It's the ability to play it out of the post. Boyd Heather gets in there and knocks a couple of shots. That'll lift the bench as well.
Oh, yeah, it will.
It'll be interesting to see what'll happen. I think a run like that is needed, though, and I think both teams are praying for it. And one would have to argue some of the crowd probably is too. 27 all with two teams that we're expecting to be finalists in this competition isn't necessarily the greatest thing to see. But nonetheless, we also had a pretty, what you'd call a subpar first half in our Kings game versus Latrobe yesterday, and then that ended up in an OT through. And what was one of, if not the game of the day, along with that Hobart Penguin overtime game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. A run like that is needed. We're going to certainly hope that it happens. But I am liking the defensive pressure of both teams. They're forcing Penguin are forcing the errant pass down one end. Meanwhile, Glenorchy are really down there, battling down low at the rim and getting stops right at the hoop. So, for Coach Beveridge, he's just wanting a bit more execution later in the shot clock to really get those to fall. Meanwhile, Coach Stanwicks is just wanting his team to execute through that middle phase of the 24 seconds. So when they have set up and managed to get to the hoop and score, it's been with ease, but it's been that middle period after getting down the floor and getting in position. The passing just hasn't quite been there. So, defensively, I think both teams are there, and that probably reflects the scoreboard. But offensively, too, just the minor execution factors. Both teams can get down the floor. One's just struggling to finish at the rim. The other is just sort of mucking around with it in the middle phase of the play.
Round one of State League here at the Kingborough Sports Centre. Been a good weekend of basketball. Lots happening. And again, nice little crowds around each of the courts as well too, JB. It's great to see basketball back up and running.
Absolutely. And we've got a pretty solid crowd here for a Sunday as well, Ronnie. I was probably a little hesitant, to be honest. I thought a lot of people who probably would have had games earlier have not. I just see Charlotte and Andrew talking about the mic situation, but I would have thought a lot of teams would have had games and would have got out of here, or people that weren't getting minutes or were in a rotation with different players would have been out. But we've got a really solid crowd here, Ronnie. They'd have to be. They'd be close to. I'd hazard a guess at 100, close to. Nearly 100 people around there, close to 100 people in or around the court watching, which is great to see, particularly for a Sunday afternoon. And I can imagine some of these people would be better off wanting to be on the couch or in bed rather than down here in the stadium. But hopefully the boys can turn it up the second half and make it worth it.
Absolutely. We are underway here, term number 3. Glenorchy going to the right of your screen as Boydo now Roby. Term Stanwicks. So Barker down low, one-on-one with White. Barker in that kicks it out. Boydo for 3, just off. We had a good look at that one, JB.
Yep, talked about that way they were going to come out in that second, just in that halftime break there. And again, playing that pass, trying to draw the defence in on Barker to open up the shooters. Just got to get the shot to fall.
So White brings Barker out. Now Richards. Here's Beveridge, puts it to the floor, pulls up. And it's good.
There we go. We managed to get Beveridge into the shooting part as well. And again, execution in the last part.
And quick transition
Phoenix
play.
Roby again.
Wise decision.
Zach White shaking his head. I think he knew.
I think that could be a mental thing too.
Boydo smashed it into the padding.
Boydo. Now.
As we're going to have a question here. Zach White's on the deck.
I had a foul on Boyd for clearing him out.
I had trouble.
On Boyd?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's going to turn over, so call the travel. Yep.
Okay, so referees just had a bit of a conference there, and we've called a travel.
And that's smart too. There's no point fouling a player when there was already a turnover in the play. Boyd is the kind of player that you want on the floor, and that's just smart officiating. No need to try and get him out of the game when he can be involved and make it a contest. Smart call.
So Bragg, now Beveridge.
I was really concerned there. I started hearing voices. I remember we had AJ mic'd up.
Yes, we did. White for 2. I thought we might just eardrops on that one, JB, just because it was probably we just wanted to know where that call was going to lead to.
Yeah, well, it was 50-50. There was a clear out. The clear out call was definitely there, but as Connor said, he thought he shuffled his feet and smart play there.
So Smith, now Boydo down low.
That pass was there. Yeah, Boydo wanted it. He saw it.
So Boydo with the vision. Now down low to Barker. And again, good double team by the Blues as Richards able to get that.
That was the pressure they needed to apply. They've seen that. Mal Beveridge has seen that running. He knew what was coming.
So Bragg up the floor, kicks it out. They've
run into one another.
Both Beverages kind of nearly clean each other up, and Glenorchy to get it back.
Two beverages run into it. What do you call it when two beverages run into each other, Ronnie?
I don't want to.
Cheers.
Righto, boom, boom. So, Roby. Now Smith. So patience here on the offense as Smith needs to do something with the shot clock at 8 and then the foul there. So
Mason Bragg giving plenty of respect to young Connor Smith there. He's chased him around all game. Mason's going to do the same. And as I mentioned, Ronnie, that in itself is a unique contest and battle.
It certainly is.
Oh, squared up there. Lucky Zach White was on it.
Yeah, Stanwicks and White are very well known to each other. And Roby for 3. And then, well, you could say that nearly a pass to Barker. Yeah, we'll give him the assist.
Yes, we'll give him the assist, the shooting assist.
So Beveridge,
29 all.
Beveridge down the floor. Goes exploring, puts up a runner, can't get it to go. Barker with the rebound, and here we go down the floor once again. Stanwicks pulls up. Short on that one. Bragg with the rebound.
The jumper has just eluded him since the first quarter.
We know Stanwicks can get on a roll. As Richards balls his way through and draws the foul on Bordeaux and will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, had to be physical on that one. Had to call that one. But, yeah, both sides here, as we mentioned, Ronnie, through that halftime break, they're just trying to get those execution factors going. Haven't had much success at the moment. 2.5 in. It's evident what both clubs are trying to do. It's just a matter of trying to get results.
Richards knocks down the first.
Just realised that we're the loudest people in the building, so I might just bring it back.
You're going to bring it down, AJ?
Bring it down to a bit of a whisper. The last thing you need is...
he makes the second. And
I don't think I need to raise my voice for people to know my presence, Ronnie.
Right, JB. So Roby with it. Now Smith in term here to Bordeaux. So Bordeaux looking at his options. Goes cross court over to Roby. Roby wanted to go baseline, but well cut off there by Beveridge. Now Stanwicks. Shot clock at 5 now. Oh, nice play. And then rejected by Richards and White. And then Joel Beveridge realised he was outside.
We're going to run this down to 1.
So it's got to go down to 1. Of course, the light blue lines here at the Kingborough Sports Centre.
Yes, poor Beveridge there was not cheersing on that one, I can assure you. But, I mean, that was good pressure there, frustrated with the turnover. But, again, a really good situation here defensively for Penguin, if you ask me. They've got young Phoenix Roby in the corner having to inbound with 1 second on the shot clock. So it'll be interesting to see what they come off here. They're going to have to run some sort of lob play, I feel. But I don't know how you throw a lob from almost behind the backboard. Big pressure catch and shoot here.
It will definitely just be catch and shoot and then hope and pray. Really, and that's all they can do in this situation. I think if you're Bredon, I think you'd be happy just to see if you can get a shot off and go from there. So the shot clock at 2. They're trying to get this to 1. No, so Connor has to reset and go again. There is a way of doing that manually without having the actual main game clock to run as well too. So
thankfully, 4, 3.
If we count down. And there we go. All right. So
just me then. Fair
enough. One left on the shot clock here. Phoenix Roby to set.
They are wanting to run this lob play.
Yeah, so no. So Roby getting a little bit stuck, and there it is. Ooh. And nearly paid off for Barker, who threw up the shot.
I think that was the third of 2 options, nonetheless.
So Beveridge coming down the floor. Now White looks for Richards, gets a little screen there, step back and then pass inside. Good pass to Beveridge from Richards. Short on that one.
Barker
got the rebound and then he gets it back, and with, again, the rare ball carrying duties there for the big fella. Roby working his way through and foul on the play. It's going to be on Jalen Beveridge.
They're really, really pressuring young Phoenix Roby here in this game. He's had a bit of an off afternoon so far, but again, backing up from a state league game, and we've got a BTAS game next, so he'll be straight into uniform after this.
He will be, and Barker inside drew the foul on White. He'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, you couldn't argue that one. I could hear that through the headphones, and we don't have AJ mic'd up. So, well, we do. We just don't have him on. But again, this game just slowly plugging away. Ronnie, the only thing I'm regretting at this point is that I didn't borrow the foam padding seats that Dion Delaney was with yesterday. He was in for one game today, left after the 10 o'clock game, back up to the northwest. Safe travels for him and everyone, in fact, that has come down from the northwest. They've made it an incredible weekend, particularly seeing that in the south we've managed one women's team and I think it was, how many men's teams? About 4 or 5.
Four
men's teams. So the Northwest Coast and the North making up a majority of our competition.
Oh,
my
Zach
gee,
White
boy.
nearly giving us a highlight for the third quarter.
Good Lord.
That was very close.
He's going to try again.
Goes for seconds, and the sensible thing right there, JB.
Yeah, he only caught the Cessna there, not the M16. 82nd Airborne was going to struggle to contain him if he took off.
Bordeaux for 3,
No
just
good.
off.
Zach White trying to put a presence on this game now. He's done it defensively and he wants in on the offense.
Absolutely. Beveridge
So
for
does
3.
More.
In and out.
Richo.
Richards with the tip. And now Penguin out to a 4-point lead. 35-31. 5.5 to go.
Yes, they got over that hump and now they've created one themselves and an execution.
And Phoenix Roby hits the 3.
Bit of back and forth here. This game's starting to pick up a bit of tempo.
So, yes, just when we thought it felt flat, and then Zach White dunk attempt has just really sparked something here. Beveridge from downtown. He's short.
My God, poor old Cal Barker. He's put a lot of people on posters in senior this year. He doesn't want to be on the receiving end.
No.
Especially at his size.
And then a big man kind of fundamental error there. Richards, and he run out of real estate. Now Bragg, back to Richards, and again...
Stepped out of bounds.
Bounce, and substitutions being made. Nick Barker coming in along with Riley Haywood and Bordeaux and Jalen Beveridge having a rest. Now, Nick Barker on one technical. If he gets one more, he will be gone from the game.
Adios, amigos.
So I'll be interested to see. I mean, we've talked about this in other broadcasts and whatnot. The players just need to keep a cool head here. There's such a long way to go in this state league competition, that you don't want to blow a gasket early and then end up being out of a game.
Absolutely, and our referees, as we've seen, have really handled this game well. That technical on Nick had to be called when it was, but as we've seen down the other end, in a situation where we can keep a player with more chance in the game, such as the Boyd Heather scenario there, they'll make the right call. So, will be interesting to see how they go. Just noticed Alex Beswick is in the court. He went off after a massive hit yesterday, fell on the baseline. He's up and about. He's walking pretty gingerly, so I'd say limited minutes for him, but it's good to see him upright and in uniform, so he does intend to play. Let's hope we hear good things about him on the other side.
Absolutely. Grant is playing today as well too, so there's been already a few games happening today. We're in the second to last time slot of the day here for State League, and then State League moves to Devonport in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll send the cameras up there.
Yes, the 30th, is it the 30th and 31st or 29th and 30th?
29th and 30th.
Oh, no, 31st and the 1st, sorry. It's the Saturday, Sunday. Yes, got my dates mixed up there. But, yeah, BTAS really cramming the calendar here, but we've had, based on the quality of action we've seen and the tightness of these contests, Ronnie, it's bound to be just another great weekend in Devonport.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. As we say, the cameras will be heading up there, and hopefully we can find ourselves a broadcast spot. If not, it'll be roving footage and then a highlights package during the week after that, after round 2.
Yes.
And then we come back to you for the local round where we'll live stream, and then Gala weekend as well too. We'll live stream. Meanwhile, Stanwick's throwing up a highlight. Did he swing on the ring too long?
I'm going to ask it whether I think he took another extra big step amongst that one, Ronnie. I thought he walked and then he hung on the rim. He got away with both. Nonetheless, Glenorchy come away with a basket.
So a little bit of excitement here as both teams trying to give us some highlights.
Mason Bragg, good dribble.
Bragg puts it to the floor and gets it to go off a runner. And a 1-point lead now for the Blues.
And there's the difference that Mason Bragg brings to this team. While he's not a shoot first, as in jump shot guard, there's Smith with the response. No good. No. But he runs the floor, he dribble penetrates, he can pass and kick. There's a reason that he was on that contract at one point in Perth.
So Bragg puts it to the floor. Now again, the runner can't get it to go, and that will be on Beveridge, who gave Connor Smith a bit of a shove.
Yeah, said hello to him. How you going? Welcome to Sunday. 36-37, Ronnie. Again, this is an atrocious game. Connor Smith's been blown out of his shoes.
Yeah.
Is he all right? Yeah, he's all good.
He's all fine. Yeah, it's just his shoe popped out.
And again, as we mentioned, Ronnie, we mention it a lot locally, but Connor Smith having taken big steps in his game the last 2 years and has become an integral part of the Glenorchy senior side.
So Roby
wanted that pass, telegraphed it too much though.
Now Stanwick's back to Smith. Stanwicks puts it to the floor, goes right, and then threw up the shot and drew a foul, and Beveridge picks up another foul.
Yeah, he's going to have to be careful here. He's picked up a couple. It's Joel Beveridge, isn't it?
I'm just looking here. That's
turn it round for Charlotte number
three. Right.
Yeah, he's committed a couple of easy ones there. He knows he's done it. But they're not out of frustration. They're just general players. So that also tells me that he does have some genuine intent in what he's doing. There's no malice in it, and his head's in the game, which is a good thing for Penguin, but a very scary thought if he really starts quick offensively. If you're a defender for Glenorchy, that is.
So Bragg puts it to the floor. White for three. Just flat. We know Zach White can knock that down. And then last touch by the Penguin, so Glenorchy to get it back.
Yeah, Jacob Richard doesn't necessarily agree with that one.
So 3:03 remaining. 1 point ball game. This is the lowest scoring I've seen all weekend here by both teams. It's been a bit of it's been one of those games where nothing has really got going for either team. As Phoenix Roby gets it to go from downtown.
It's knocked a couple of shots here in the third quarter here, Phoenix, and that game is now in the favour of the Spartans, 39-37. Could be first to 60 wins this, I think, Ronnie.
It could well be. And ball got knocked out. White gets it now. Haywood, if he caught that clean, I would reckon the shot would have went up. Smith goes to the floor. Bragg kicks it out. Good ball movement. Richards for three.
Wanted the bank.
Off. Bank's not open on Sunday.
Any idea whether they filled up the ATM out at Westside Circle after all the bankers we saw yesterday?
Yeah, possibly. Well, I believe not. But meanwhile, turnover from the Spartans. Beveridge has Bragg in support, uses him. Now Haywood joins the party, and then
too fancy for their own good there, Penguin.
Beveridge can't get that one to go, so Bragg goes for a three himself. That's flat.
Yeah, he can't. Poor old Mace unfortunately can't rely on that outside jumper. That's where he gets inside and scores. But Penguin just a little too fancy there. They should have gone to the basket and scored.
So Roby pulls up from the free throw. That's short. Now Bragg, one-on-one with Smith here. Roby trailing, and then Bragg, nice move for the layup.
Better finish, better result. That's what Penguin wanted.
So tied at 39. Just under 100 seconds to play here, term number 3. So ball getting moved around as Barker thought about it, puts it, well, goes to Roby now. So Glenorchy just kind of stacking one side here literally on this offensive phase. Stanwicks pulls up for three. That's an interesting shot that Stanwicks took. So Bragg coming down the floor here, putting on some skates, and then has to kick it out. Ball movement. Haywood here at the corner now. Richards back at the 45. Puts it to the floor. Good drive kick. White open. That's short. White hasn't found his range yet from downtown. Meanwhile, Roby gets by. Needs to... Both teams just need to slow it out. I feel like we're in one of these weird kind of phases in this game right now, JB, as Barker puts up the shot, can't get it to go.
Yeah, couldn't get that to fall, and just a lot of backwards and forwards with no result here.
So Bragg goes up, can't get anybody English on that one, and then the foul drawed on Bragg.
Yeah, easy call there.
Now,
takes a lot to get Cow Barker off his feet. We'll go the other way.
Right, yeah, so we'll walk 90 feet. And that's 4 on Mason Bragg now. So,
yeah, poor old Mao. They're just a bit of a smile. I can't do much about that, but it's going to be a very interesting last quarter with that foul trouble there. And I believe there's, and you've got 3 fouls on Beveridge as well. So the last thing they want is their 2 dominant ball handlers to be with some genuine foul concerns, particularly in a tight game against the Spartans.
So Barker makes the first. And we'll make the second. 2-point margin, 41-39. 30 seconds to go. As Beveridge brings this one down here. So, quick little kind of high double screen set. Beveridge puts up the 3 and gets it to go.
Big shot.
So good. So Jalen Beveridge with 3. That lead is now 42-41.
Yep, we've had a swing in momentum. Spartans want to answer.
So Barker with the mid-range 2
Never
and
like
gets
missing.
it to go.
Never looked like missing. 3,
so
2.
Beveridge puts up the 3/4 time buzzer beater and nearly, went wide, but
didn't look too bad from our position.
No, so Glenorchy lead by 1, 43-42.
It's going to be a massive final quarter coming up here. Offense slowly picking up. We'll see what either team can do on the next side of the break. Here we go, Ronnie. Last quarter underway,
Yep.
and a war of attrition, and one would argue not in the greatest sense. That third quarter, there were some execution factors that were missing. They're going to want to pick it up, both teams, here in the last.
Absolutely. We'll see how this plays out, JB. So Beveridge puts it to the floor now. Back to his cousin in Joel. Now Richards over Barker for three. Can't get it to go. So Callum Barker with the rebound. And quickly up the floor here now it's Stanwicks. And Smith gets it. Now ball getting moved around. So Barker's free at the top of the key here. Now Roby.
Had an open shot there, but
Stanwicks goes himself and can't get it to go.
Tell you what, that was deceptive. It looked like from here the net moved a bit as the ball went down, but that one's a foul there. Connor Smith, 43-42, Ronnie, and as we mentioned, it's probably going to be the first team that executes that wins this game. We're expecting the run out of these teams. It's still yet to come. And I just wonder whether games yesterday, and then you're backing up with games today, and Penguin playing that overtime thriller, Glenorchy sort of having a bit more of a cakewalk into this game, so to speak. A big blowout win in Latrobe, and then they beat the high-performance team by double digits as well. So interesting dynamic, but just a lot of tired legs out there by the looks of it.
Yeah, I'd say fatigue playing a bit of a factor here. Is Haywood for three.
That was flat as attack.
Can't get that to go. Barker and then Beveridge somehow get the rebound. Stanwicks goes down to the floor, and that's a blocking foul on Jack Stanwicks.
3, block. Yeah, fair point.
Didn't really hear much.
No, we didn't get that. We
didn't hear much of that. Just more of a just a fair point. But a really easy call to make. They're running out of room and blindsiding the player. Didn't give him enough time. And I think that's one thing a lot of people don't realise there, Ronald, is that there is actually a visual that the player has to give as a screener. That you can't just blindside the player. They need to have had time to see you there. And Beveridge really just turning in with no room to move. That's an easy call.
Yeah, pretty much so. And I think, it's just a scrappy play in the end, and probably deserved a foul somewhere there.
Yeah, there was definitely a call to be made. I think the right one was made.
Stanwicks down low in the Barker. One-on-one with Richards. Barker puts it up and gets it to go on the turnaround, Jay. So the two former Hobart franchise teammates gets the battle hard, but Barker gets the win on that one.
Going to need a big run here by either team. This one just stagnating. Haywood tired.
Hasn't found his range yet. So Roby up the floor. Now Smith. Nearly went over Richards. Stanwicks, quick pass in the Roby. Now ball getting moved quick around. Bolton, they're looking for Barker inside. Stanwicks has other ideas. Goes to Smith. Puts it to the floor. Rejected by White. And then all of a sudden now, is that an offensive foul? It is. And Joel Beveridge, we can see down the corner of the screen.
He's quite happy.
He's quite happy about the call.
Brendan Stanwicks, on the other hand, is not happy with the call. But, Zach White had been there for a day and a half. I don't know whether he was in the circle. We'd have to watch the replay there. But he was clearly straight up and took contact.
It looked like a clear-cut call to me. So... And the way they've been calling the game, that's the right call. That was an
easy call. Easy call to make. Consistent call.
Beveridge, now Haywood. Richards puts it to the floor. Pocket pass into White, and then now foul on the play. And it was before everyone collided.
A lot of contact there. So I'm glad Zach White didn't have the cleanest path, because I feel we'd be still screaming after a dunk.
And 5 fouls for Connor Smith. He exits the game. Ruben Carlson coming into the ball game.
Now, this is where Penguin need to attack. Mason Bragg will, although he has 4 fouls, will probably look to get back into this one, because their next option to guard him is a Jack Stanwicks or a Phoenix Roby, and Mason's pace and ability to create off the dribble. That could be a dangerous combination.
So White goes over Barker, and nice work by Zach White there on the drive.
Worked into the chest there of Barker, got the space straight up off the glass. We're a 1-point ball game once again.
So we'll see this game come to some sort of a climax very soon, you'd think. So Carlson puts it to the floor, puts up the runner.
Oh, nice
work.
Nice little floater. I was looking for someone to jump for the lob there. There was no lob pass at all. That was a nice little floater straight over the top.
So Carlson may prove as an X factor in this final 6 or so minutes.
He's going to have to play extended minutes.
So Haywood he goes up for a runner of himself. Can't get that to go.
Cal Barker clearing the glass out once again.
Yeah. So Stanwick's coming down the floor, goes cross-court over to Roby for 3. Just off. Haywood with the rebound. Now Beveridge coming up the floor.
Phoenix Roby really the only person to knock an outside shot in the second half here for the Spartans.
Beveridge pulls up from the netball circle. Can't get that to go. Now Carlson coming down the floor. Haywood able to deflect it. Now Haywood has a good matchup here on Carlson. He gets it to go. Riley Haywood will go to the line for 1 as the foul's assessed on Reuben Carlson.
Another easy call to be made there. Forced him wide. That was a big finish there by Haywood.
And I think Haywood would take advantage on that matchup. Some of the shooters, Mason Bragg, will come in.
And that's 3 fouls there on Reuben Carlson as I just saw the ticket there. So again, the Penguin boys drawing the fouls on the defenders there. And I mean, the more foul trouble that Glenorchy are in, the worse off they are. But we now have a tie ball game as Haywood, again, comes in, creates the spark, heads out. He's done his job. He's played his minutes. And we might not see much of him for the rest of the game, though, Ronnie, with the state game next. But if you coach Beveridge, you do have to weigh up the fact that he is such an X factor.
Absolutely. And now Glenorchy are in the penalty as well. So Penguin need to keep attacking the rim.
6:15 remaining and in the penalty. That's a very dangerous situation to be in.
It certainly is. Bordeaux from the free throw, yes.
I have not seen Bordeaux get up that high on an elevate for a jumper in years. That was a tremendous jump shot.
Nice work by Bordeaux to get him out to a little 2-point buffer here.
Have to interview him after the game about that one.
As Beveridge, now Richards. And of course, Bragg back out on the floor. And that's a foul on Bordeaux.
Yeah, loud as you like.
54, push, blue ball, bonus.
And very straight to the point there, referee Johnson. But yeah, you could hear that through our headsets, and that was without the microphone up because AJ is muted until we turn him up. So it's just gone really quiet again.
So yes, there's a bit of a hush over the stadium here.
He makes the first free throw.
But we don't need to.
Take White is of the line.
We don't need a whisper.
Can he do it a second?
We don't need a whisper.
Knife edge, Ronnie.
So he's tired.
Good finish there by Zach.
In all seriousness, good free throw shooting there by Zach White.
He's actually a reliable jump shooter. Like, his outside shot hasn't fallen tonight, but that's the key to this Penguin offense. He's a great internal presence, but he does have that ability when need be to stretch the floor.
So Bordeaux for a long 2, just flat. Beveridge with the rebound.
He's got some confidence in his game at the moment, Bordeaux.
So Bragg comes up the floor, too many black jerseys and needs to retreat back. So ball inside now, Beveridge. And again, good work by Stanwicks.
He's had an off game there, that Jalen Beveridge, isn't it? Is that Jalen? Tall Beveridge?
Tall one is Charlin, yes. So Barker inside, a mini little reverse, can't go. Then uses his body and, I think, as... Now, I'm not sure what Kellen Barker's done. Has he popped his shoulder out there, Jobo, or is it something to do with his forearm?
I don't know, but that
didn't look good.
Oh, he's straight off the floor. That is not good.
No.
He's gone over to Brett, and I don't know whether he's broke his arm or whether he's done a shoulder here. That's a
could well be a shoulder. Just
time
out being called here.
But he is grabbing at that arm. I'm not sure if it's it's the shoulder.
Shoulder, yeah.
Oh,
that's not good.
Nasty.
So we're tied at 49, 5:10 remaining, and they'll try to work on Kellen Barker there. So I'm
just going to pan a little bit that way. I don't like looking at that.
It's not good. So apologies there if people have seen that in the vision. It doesn't look great.
And he grabbed it straight away. I mean, he was fighting under there, and you could see him trying to go up. And I mean, that's the hard thing about being a big. I think Brennan going to try and put it back in. I don't know, but that's not good. And that's a big blow to this game too. Yeah. He's been crucial.
He has been. And if he can't return back into the game, does that open up? I mean, we hate to say it. Does that open up an opportunity?
Absolutely, it does for Penguin, and they need to utilise that. Zach White will then be in control of this game, I believe, from here on in. If that is the case, you don't want to see it in that situation. As we're just having a bit of a look round here, we're going to. That is, look at it. That's not nice. It's protruding at all angles.
Certainly is. So both teams come back out onto the floor.
As we have Reuben Woolcock here, we'll try and potentially get an interview out of you at our next time out, Mr. Woolcock. Thank you, sir. talk about how mischievous you were. No, not really. You behaved yourself very well last night.
Meanwhile, back to the free throws. As Nick Barker is at the line, has to take him for Callum Barker because he's off on.
Yes, the sub. Now
it's the sub.
It's the sub that.
Correct.
So there's no one on the floor.
You can't. No one on the floor. So Barker misses the first, makes the second. So see how Penguin come down on this possession here.
We've got his dad now over there tending to him. He's smiling about it, Cow. He's done it multiple times, but that is just not a good look.
So Beveridge looking for White or Richards. Now goes to Richards. So Beveridge here at 45. Now White
needs to take advantage of this.
Yeah, he takes mismatch, puts it up and gets it to go. And he'll go to the line for one. And that will be assessed on Ruben Carlson.
That's his fourth, and again the two big defensive outs here at the moment. Cow not being in the game is one thing, but Ruben Carlson now is going to be really stretched. If that's his fourth foul, you're going to see Phoenix Roby is going to have to rotate here because he's the only one with length, and I hate to say it, the only one with length and speed that can really try and contain this.
So Penguin may have some mismatches that they'll utilise, but can Glenorchy respond here? Stanwick's good pass, rejected by White on Nick Barker. Get that out of here. As Beveridge comes up the floor, now Richards goes through Boydo and others. Now Bragg. So White goes from downtown, it's short, and then Beveridge has to pull this one out.
He's been the X factor here in the last quarter, Zach White, playing some big D and hit a couple of shots here.
So shot clock at 6. Penguin need to get busy. Beveridge has to do something. Good defensive sequence from the Spartans. Richards puts up a Hail Mary, but it wasn't in time. And shot clock violation.
Yeah, easy call there to make. 50-52 our scoreline. The big factor here at the moment is that Connor Smith not only is out on fouls, but you've got Nick Barker, Cow Barker, who has left the game with what we assume to be a severe shoulder injury. Dislocation, it looks like. That's changed the outlook of this game.
Roby for 3 is short. And then the ball getting tapped away. Bragg up the floor now. Has Carlson and Barker to beat. Rejected by Barker.
My God, he got up. Come down the floor too. I wasn't expecting that.
So Stanwicks goes cross-court. Roby this time for 3. Can't get that to fall over.
Shouldn't have hesitated.
There might be a lid on the ring down one end of the floor.
We're hoping that's the reason, because some of these shots have really clanged about here this afternoon. Boydo's been put on skates. So that was a hesitation.
There was a potential there from White to put it onto the floor. Now inside, Jalen Beveridge puts it up, and Ruben Castle will be fouled out of the game.
We'll see him later. Cooper Hills will see his first action of the game, and this bench of Glenorchy is being stretched far and wide. Yeah, Brendan, now Beveridge calling it, but Brendan Stanwicks has got no choice but to really talk this one over. 50-52, that is 5, as we can confirm there. Now, we do have a friend of the program sitting next to us. We've got the microphone here. If you'd like to just quickly take a hand of that, please. Mr. Woolcock, it is on. We'll just give a general, if you can just hold that nice and close, you know how the microphone works, man. How have you seen the State League here as we're on? Yep, we're good. How have you seen the refereeing side of State League so far this weekend, Mr. Woolcock?
First of all, gentlemen, thank you for having me on. Long-time listener, long-time fan.
First-time caller.
First-time caller. The quality of the officiating so far has been pretty decent. We've got a fair few young kids coming through that we're trying to put on some games with some senior heads and give them some experience, some exposure, and also practicing in this 3-person setup. It's also new to these guys as well, so I think it's a good opportunity for us to give them some learning opportunities and create some development for the officials in just the entire state. Basically, we've got guys from Launceston, the northwest as well, and so it's a good opportunity for everyone, really.
How was your first year on the NBL panel? You just come off your rookie year. What did you manage to take out of that from a refereeing experience, and what are you going to bring into your second season?
The whole experience is surreal, basically. The pace and the physicality and the pure skill of the players is beyond anything I've ever experienced. So that's the first kind of step up. And then you come back to this and it feels a step slower. So it makes your officiating of local stuff a lot better. And it makes things a little bit easier to see. But next year I got some plans for development just based around mechanics and things like that. And just constantly trying to improve and get better on each game.
What have you seen as the strong points this week as Barker goes up? He was fouled and Zach White's a little ginger there. What have been some of the strong points you've seen from our local referees over the weekend, and particularly in your time back in the state so far?
I think generally we're letting guys play through contact and get to the rim, which is really promising. We don't want to be interrupting the game too much and letting guys get to the rack. So like this play here, we saw Barker get to the rim, might have played through a little bit of contact, but these guys are men, we let them play. Try and let them finish at the rim, and if they're interrupted at the rim, there's a bit of contact, then we've got to get that one.
For sure. There in a game like this, I mean, it's really tight. It's had its moments where it's been clean, and then it's had other moments where it's just been really shaky and lacking somewhat. I mean, does that change how you officiate the game and look at it, or do you still try and keep that level of consistency, or trying to clean it up a little bit more? What's your approach there?
It's something that I've noticed is the varying styles of play from each team. Like we've got the 3 regions worth of teams, and so the styles and the physicality, the pace of offense, and the way they choose to play defense, if they play zones and things, it varies a lot greater than what you would have locally. So being able to approach a game that might be different, it might be clunky or like scrappier, or it might be open and fast-paced. You don't approach it differently. You just maybe give the scrappier, broken play a little bit more opportunity to develop, and then try and pick out the foul that is obvious and has the most impact on the game.
Very good. Always good to hear from Ruben. You were helping young Ruben on his development pathway, Ronnie, and it must be pretty proud from your perspective to have seen him come so far in his refereeing career.
Oh, absolutely. We're quietly proud of Ruben and how far he's come, and he's certainly taken on the advice of development as Bragg knocks down the 3 and extends this to 9. But it is really great to see someone taking his opportunity, and then obviously when moving to Melbourne as well too for obviously other commitments and school commitments. Things have paid. Stanwich knocks down the 3. It's really good to see that Ruben has taken some good opportunities, and now all of a sudden it's paid off, and now he's at the big time. So now we just really want to see him keep improving at that level, and let's just see how far he can go. But no, we're really happy for him, and I only played a small part, not a big part, but just a small part. But we're really happy that where he's at now is something that is quite enjoyable to watch.
We'll touch back on that in a second. Closing moments of this game, things just tightening up and lifting in the intensity department.
Back to 6 here as Tamwicks comes down the floor, puts up a bit of a floater. Can't get that to go. Barker and Beveridge kind of collide into each other, but ball goes out of play.
Two physical beings going at it there. Can't do much about that one.
Glenorchy to get it back. 14 left on the shot clock. Minute 4 remaining. Glenorchy need to score here to really get this back to say 3 or 4. So now Barker up and over. Can't get it to go. White with the rebound.
Bunch of big bodies in there again.
There was a few in there.
Beveridge throwing his weight around.
So Bragg puts it to the floor. Cross court to Richards. Good ball fake. Richards drives to the basket. Over Hills. And then the foul on Roby. And Jacob Richards will go to the line for 1.
Go to the line and all but put this game away. Just finally, Ruben, to touch on things. How's it feel to be able to actually come back and see those initial routes that you went through to your reffing pathway, and just see the other refs also doing, following a similar pathway and hoping to aspire to be at the level you're at?
I think the kids these days they've got a lot more exposure with the NBL coming into town. I think that's massive. It's going to create pathways and development, and also I think it might encourage more players and more referees to come about. So I think it's going to produce a lot more basketball for the entire state. And that's just only going to bring good things. It's going to attract more funding, more resources, more people to give back. And I think the development path, that development in general, can only go up from here.
Well said. I don't think I can really add much more to that as Stanwic's taking a big three. Hello.
My goodness. So back to 5, 26.2. So Glenorchy extending the pressure as we thank Ruben Wilcock for joining us here in the broadcast. Always great to have a bit of a chat with him, along with, of course, referee Andrew Johnson as well too. We've got to thank both of them for giving up their time throughout the weekend.
Still got a shot clock here to get rid of.
So shot clock at 3.
Shoot it. Got to get up block.
Beveridge needs to shoot. This will see us out, and well, there was a foul on the play.
No one's in the no bonus though. No bonus. Beveridge just copped that in the quad.
And then he's just sat down in the stand there.
Put that at the full time. There's nothing else that can be done. Everyone's looking around. Final scores 61-56. Ronnie, that will just about do us for the first game here. Didn't quite open up as we thought. Again, thank you very much to Ruben for joining us. This one, a scrappy state of affairs. A couple of big injuries, or one big injury in particular. A couple of foul outs, and yeah, just not quite the game I think we were expecting, to be honest, Ronald.
No, it's just one of those really odd games that, yeah, I don't know what to make of it. Obviously, we got the conclusion that we might have been looking for to a degree, but I just really feel like maybe a little bit of fatigue, a few other, and of course Penguin are down on numbers. They've still got a few players to come in as well too. But and then of course Glenorchy in a bit of foul trouble. But it just seemed like the game just had a really odd kind of feeling to it. So, but you get that sometimes in weekend tournaments, and games can go that way. But you know, full credit to Penguin in the end, they were able to scrap that one out and get a win.
Yes, they were. That will do us. We'll head this one off here and get ready for the second of our double header. It'll be Launceston versus BTAS.